Close your eyes and imagine a world thrown into chaos. It's 1815, and a strange, suffocating haze blankets the globe. Crops wither in the fields, skies turn a sickly gray, and entire communities starve as temperatures plummet. This wasn't a sci-fi nightmare, it was real, caused by Mount Tambora, a volcano tucked away in East Asia. Its eruption was the largest in modern history, spewing 80 cubic kilometers of ash, rock, and debris into the atmosphere, claiming up to 100,000 lives, and plunging the world into a year without a summer. But here's the chilling truth. Tambora was just a spark compared to the apocalyptic power Earth can unleash. Enter supervolcanoes, the planet's ultimate heavyweights, capable of making Tambora look like a firecracker. Take Mount Toba in Indonesia, which erupted 74,000 years ago with a force 50 times greater, hurling 30 times more debris into the sky. If a supervolcano like Yellowstone, Long Valley, or Topo erupted today, it could wipe out up to 1 billion lives. That's not a typo, 1 billion people gone in a cataclysm of ash, lava, and global cooling. Right now, about 20 of these sleeping giants lurk beneath Earth's surface, each one a ticking time bomb more dangerous than an asteroid strike. They're not just geological marvels, they're existential threats that could reshape humanity's future. But what if we could outsmart these monsters? What if, instead of living in fear of their next eruption, we could harness their raw power for good? A NASA engineer has a plan straight out of a sci-fi blockbuster. Drill a network of boreholes, miles deep, around a supervolcano's magma chamber. Pump cold water down into the scorching rock, let it absorb the intense heat, and pull it back up to generate clean, renewable energy. Over tens of thousands of years, this process could cool the magma enough to neutralize the volcano entirely, turning a planetary threat into a power source. It's like defusing a bomb while lighting up our cities. Sounds like a dream, right? But it's a high-stakes operation. Drill too close to the magma chamber, and you risk triggering the very eruption you're trying to prevent. It's a tightrope walk requiring pinpoint precision, cutting-edge technology, and a whole lot of courage. Get it right, though, and you've got a near-endless supply of geothermal energy and a safer planet. We'd need to pull this off for all 20 known supervolcanoes: Yellowstone, Toba, Era Caldera, and more, and stay vigilant for new ones. Deep in Earth's mantle, magma plumes are constantly rising, ready to form new volcanic threats every 50,000 years or so. Taming these forces isn't just a cool idea, it could mean the difference between humanity's long-term survival and a civilization-ending catastrophe. Supervolcanoes are just one piece of Earth's wild, unpredictable puzzle. From the rocky lithosphere to the swirling atmosphere, our planet is a dynamic system that can turn hostile in an instant. Each layer, land, air, and sea, can deliver shocks that threaten life itself. Our mission: harness the power of technology to manage these systems, creating a world where humans and nature can thrive together for millions of years. Let's dive into one of the biggest challenges: the climate. In 1991, Mount Pinatubo in the Philippines erupted, blasting 20 million tons of sulfur dioxide into the stratosphere. The result was staggering. Sunlight bounced back into space, global temperatures dropped by half a degree Celsius for nearly 2 years, and sea level rise slowed for a decade. With climate change driving temperatures and extreme weather to dangerous highs, some bold thinkers are asking, why not mimic this natural cooling effect? Picture artificial volcanoes spraying sulfur dioxide into the stratosphere like a giant sunscreen for Earth. Just 1 ounce of this stuff can counteract the warming effect of tons of CO2 for a year. This geoengineering trick could buy us critical time to decarbonize the global economy, slashing emissions from factories, cars, and power plants. But it's not a magic bullet. The effects could be uneven, disrupting weather patterns and threatening food supplies in vulnerable regions. In the worst case, nations might compete or even fight over who controls this climate thermostat, turning a solution into a geopolitical powder keg. It's a risky move, but when the planet's heating up, we can't afford to dismiss bold ideas. For a less controversial approach, imagine a massive solar shield floating in space, thousands of miles wide, parked at the Lagrange point where Earth's and the Sun's gravity balance out. Built from lightweight silicon bubbles that inflate in orbit, it could block 1.8% of sunlight, enough to cool the planet back to pre-industrial levels. Need to tweak the effect? Just deflate the bubbles and adjust. Or picture a network of space mirrors, redirecting sunlight with laser-like precision to warm or cool specific regions. These cosmic megaprojects could stabilize Earth's climate without the uncertainties of atmospheric tempering, offering a high-tech lifeline for a warming world. On the ground, the United Nations is already rolling out a game-changer, the Great Green Wall Initiative. This isn't just a project, it's a 5,000-mile-long belt of trees stretching across the entire African continent, from Senegal to Djibouti. This living fortress could suck up to 150 million tons of carbon, halt the spread of deserts, boost food security for millions, and create jobs that transform communities. It's a masterclass in working with nature, not against it, proving that sometimes the best solutions are rooted in the earth itself. Speaking of nature, protecting carbon sinks like the Amazon rainforest, Congo Basin, and Indonesian jungles is non-negotiable. These ecosystems are humanity's lifeline, soaking up CO2 and balancing our impact on the planet. But we're also pushing the boundaries with bioengineering. Scientists have tweaked the machinery of photosynthesis to create plants that grow 40% larger, hinting at a future of supercharged crops that could feed a growing population. They've engineered algae that convert sunlight into clean hydrogen fuel and microbes that generate electricity from mud and wastewater. And here's the wildest part. We are on the verge of reviving woolly mammoths by editing the DNA of Asian elephants. Reintroducing these shaggy giants to the Arctic could trample snow, insulate permafrost, and lock away billions of tons of CO2 that would otherwise fuel global warming. Genetic engineering might just be our ace in the hole, helping us strengthen ecosystems and make them more resilient against climate shocks. But biology isn't the only star of the show. Enter mechanical trees, futuristic machines that mimic real trees, capturing carbon on specialized plates that act like high-tech leaves. One of these marvels can do the work of 1,000 living trees. Deploy 100 million of them in barren regions, think desolate wastelands where nothing grows, and we could offset all human carbon emissions. It's like building a forest that never sleeps, tirelessly scrubbing the atmosphere clean while we sleep. The oceans are screaming for our attention, too. Rising CO2 levels are turning seawater acidic, threatening marine food chains that billions of people rely on. One radical idea: pulverize parts of the ocean floor to soak up excess CO2. Picture a nuclear bomb. Yes, a nuclear bomb detonated 5 kilometers beneath the sea to shatter basalt rock, trapping 30 years worth of carbon emissions. The deep-sea pressure would contain the blast, and a remote spot like the Kerguelen Plateau, with its barren, basalt-rich seabed, could minimize fallout. It's geoengineering at its most extreme. But when the stakes are this high, no idea is too wild to consider. For a gentler approach, artificial reefs built from sunken ships, concrete, or even 3D printed structures can transform lifeless seabeds into thriving marine metropolises. Studies show these reefs can boost fish populations up to 20 times, creating vibrant ecosystems that also store carbon through corals, shellfish, and seaweeds. On a massive scale, they could act as natural breakwaters, protecting coasts from storms and erosion while supercharging the ocean's carbon-sucking power. It's a win-win for marine life and coastal communities. Then there's the Thwaites Glacier in Antarctica, 75-mile-wide ice sheet that's melting at an alarming rate. If it collapses, we're looking at 10 feet of sea level rise, enough to drown cities from New York to Shanghai. A geoengineer from the University of Lapland has a daring plan. Construct a 100-kilometer-long underwater curtain to block warm ocean currents from eroding the glacier's base. Built to withstand collisions with icebergs, this barrier could be removed if needed, offering a reversible solution to a looming disaster. Up in the Arctic, wind-powered pumps or solar-powered polar umbrellas could spray seawater onto the surface during winter, where it would freeze instantly, rebuilding the region's ice cover and preserving its cooling effect on the planet. All these solutions, whether on land, sea, or in space, require one thing: energy. Massive amounts of it. Over the past 2 centuries, our energy use has surged 7,000%, fueling a 100-fold increase in global economic output. To keep growing, we'll need hundreds of trillions of watt-hours daily. Solar power is our best bet, covering just 0.3% of Earth's surface, with panels could power the entire world. Deserts like the Sahara, Atacama, and Gobi are prime real estate, with endless sunlight, vast spaces, and abundant silicon for panels. Proposals for mega farms in the Sahara could generate 4 times our current global energy needs. But there's a catch. Blanketing deserts with dark panels could absorb too much heat, disrupting weather patterns and warming the poles, which could spell trouble for already fragile ecosystems. The solution: move energy production off-planet. Orbital solar arrays could capture sunlight 24/7, beaming it down as lasers or radio waves while shedding waste heat into the cold void of space. China's planning a kilometer-wide array, and Oxford's dreaming up a 1.7-kilometer station called Cassiopeia, designed to be built in orbit. Better yet, shift heavy industry factories, data centers, and more to space entirely, keeping Earth's atmosphere and climate pristine. To make this a reality, we need a game changer, a space elevator. Imagine a 36,000-kilometer cable stretching from an equatorial port, say, off the coast of Ecuador to a counterweight in geostationary orbit. Laser or nuclear-powered rail cars could haul cargo up for a fraction of today's launch costs, dropping them to under $100 per kilogram, 50 times cheaper than current rockets. This could unlock mass production of orbital solar farms, data centers, research labs, and spaceports, laying the foundation for a new frontier. The challenge: we need materials stronger than anything we have today. Think carbon nanotubes or graphene, and we'd have to tackle space debris to avoid Kessler Syndrome, a catastrophic chain reaction where debris destroys satellites and creates more debris. Guided laser systems could zap small fragments, while larger pieces could be captured and deorbited. If we pull this off, we're looking at the ultimate prize, an orbital ring. Picture a 200-kilometer high structure circling Earth, supporting platforms for energy, transport, and even floating cities. Skyhooks, hanging skyscrapers, and microgravity labs could make it a hub for innovation and exploration. Narrow rings would have minimal impact on ecosystems below, but wider ones, stretching over 1,500 kilometers, could cast shadows that disrupt climate patterns. Building one would require billions of tons of asteroid-mined materials and constant computer control to prevent collapse, but prototypes could cost as little as $9 billion, a bargain for a structure that could redefine our future. This is the vision, a planet preserved as a sanctuary for life, with industry and energy thriving in orbit. Orbital rings could connect to the moon, creating a network for rapid travel and new human frontiers. Vast orbital cities and arable land could circle the Earth, offering homes and opportunities without disturbing the planet below. It's a future of boundless growth without destruction, where Earth remains a vibrant, thriving home for all life. But none of this happens without you. If these ideas light a fire in your imagination, I need you to join the mission. Hit that like button, subscribe to BrightBoundX on YouTube, and share this video with everyone you know, friends, family, coworkers, even your neighbor's dog. Okay, maybe not the dog. Let's spark a global conversation about engineering a better future for our planet. The stakes are high, the ideas are bold, and the time is now. Together, we can make the impossible possible. So, what are you waiting for? Let's build the future.